Charlie, those your buddies right there?
Yeah, it kind of looks like our friends. Seem like they came over here to clean up. Okay, buddies, don't move.
Look, they're going over to that fire truck and roost over there.
Yeah.
Get that morning sun, it's too cold. Hello, Mr. Ed here, and come on.
I'm here.
Good time, Charlie.
I'm cold, but I'm here.
Yeah, it's cold. Today it's January 29th, 2022, and we're in Metairie, Louisiana. That's right, Metairie, which is across the Lake Pontchartrain from the Abbey. And Charlie shot some footage of that. Let me roll some of that.
I tried.
So we crossed the bridge and wound up here in Metairie in my old stomping grounds. Now, back in the 70s, when I was in high school, I had friends, cousins, they lived right in this very neighborhood. And it's an old established Metairie neighborhood. And there are lots of bees in this area. This is, I don't know, and so for whatever reason, there are just a lot of bees in Louisiana. And these bees have been here for about a year now. And there were previously bees in this house as well. They've gotten them out. And now today, Charlie and I are here to remove these. Now this is the footage that the homeowner took as the bees were coming in. And go ahead and play it, Joe. And this was in April of 2021. And as the bees are coming into the house right there. So these bees have been here since April. Over the last 2 weeks, Charlie and I have been doing a lot of removals on the North Shore, far away from the Abbey. So today, Charlie said, let's go someplace closer. So this place is about 30 miles from the Abbey.
30 miles.
It's not far. And it's just kind of like a boring ride across the causeway, but it is an interesting one. So by the grace of God, these bees here in this building house in Metairie, they're coming home with me to the Abbey. Let's wrangle bees, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to show you what the bees look like on the FLIR, and it's kind of hard to get the signal on this, so we had to go in there inside and show where the bees previously were to find out how the construction was and locate the bees. But let me show you what the bees look like on the FLIR. Now, our bees are making where that broken brick is up there. That's the entrance of the hive. And right now it's 41 degrees, so you're not seeing any bees flying. I saw 2 of them poke their little heads out of there and walk around, but for the most part they're not flying. So let's look what they look like on the FLIR. And the image that we're going to get is pretty small, but you can see that bright line right here. And they pick up on the outside of the building, but on the inside we can't find them. So we went inside where bees had previously been inside here and found out how the construction of this house is done. And we're going to go inside right now and show you where our bees are going to be found in this location. So here you can see the construction of how this is done. Our end joists, they just run to the outside where the board on the outside is placed. So in this space right here, you can see where there's old comb, and this is where they had bees taken out of the area right here. Our bees now are about in this area, right in here. So we're gonna open up the sheetrock right here to get our bees out this. Yeah, Ralph's not here with us. He's in Branson today. And so this will be up to me to do this. So we're gonna cut the sheetrock out at this area right here and find those bees. Well, we got one piece of comb right there. Let's see where I can find these bees. I was just guessing, like I do a lot of times, that the bees were in here. They've got to be in this one right here, but they've already started to come over into this one because that little piece of comb that's in here. So hopefully when I cut this next section out, we'll find bees in that one. Let's cut that one out. I hear them.
Oh, I hear them. You done got them mad now.
Oh, there it is. There is the comb. There can't be that many bees up in there. They've got to be all along that front edge of the building. I see a few bees walking around right now. But that comb is tucked up in there like a pig in a blanket, because I'm telling you, there's no room to work up in there. I'm going to be starting right at this end right here, working my way across, give myself a little wiggle room. I can see a bunch of honey in those N3 ones. Those things look like they're full of honey. The other ones, about at this point right here, you can see the darker comb. That's going to be the brood comb. Here's our honey stores right here. And it looks like another honey one right at this point right there. All right, there's not much room to work up in there, but it's not a whole lot of comb. The only thing is that's deceiving is that these are 2x12 joists. So that comb is going to extend up very far up into the ceiling. So we're going to have some there'll still be some nice sections of comb to pull out of there. Now before we start removing this comb, the homeowner, Joe, he was asking me some questions about bees, how long bees live, how much they make. And so the first question, well, how long do honeybees live? And it depends on the time of year as to the length of the life of the bee. In the summertime, when there's a nectar bloom going and the bees are working, the life expectancy of a bee is only about 6 weeks. They literally work themselves to death. They tear their wings up and they die because they can't fly anymore. And they live generally 6 weeks is an estimated time that they live. But what happens as the nectar bloom starts ending and then it goes into the dearth, when the bees aren't flying anymore towards end of October and November, the brood that hatches out at that point, they're not flying like the worker bees in the summertime. So those bees, and they call those the winter bees, because what happens is those bees right there, they bring the hive through the winter. They don't work, they're not flying as often as the bees in the summertime, and so consequently their wings last longer. And they will live generally about 3 to 4 months, those bees, because they're not working themselves to death. And those bees right there, those are the ones that emerge in end of October and November. Those are the ones that bring the hive through the winter, and they become the gatherers, the workers, for when the first nectar flows for us here in January. They're the ones that start bringing that in. And as they're bringing that in January, our queen then, she begins laying. Sometime between middle of December, middle of January, she'll start picking up laying eggs again, and then 3 weeks from when the eggs are laid, they'll emerge, and then those first bees, those will then replace the winter bees, and they will then start becoming the real workers of the bees. And as the hive continues to grow every generally 3 weeks, that cycle of the bees being laid and emerging and working, then at that point your hive starts expanding, which is a good queen who lays about 2,000 eggs a day. You can see how quickly a hive can grow. And that's what happens in the early part of the year, January, February. Our hives start growing so fast, so rapidly, that's when they start laying the swarm cells, making swarm cells, and the hives will then begin to swarm. And at this time of the year, here we are, January 29th. So our queen, she is laying, but it's at a pretty reduced rate still right now. And so at this point, why I like removing hives at this time of year is because it's generally the lowest amount of bees in the hive and the smallest amount of honey, because like a removal like this, when the honey is just going to be dripping down, it's a mess. So I like to remove bees when there's a little bit less honey in the hive than that. So it's an interesting cycle of the bees that make doing this job even more interesting for me. So I'm going to grab my suit, put it on, and I'm going to start removing the comb from this area. I can see there's a few bees. There's not a lot of bees in here. I know there aren't. And we're going to go ahead and start removing comb, and hopefully we'll get some. It's going to be hard to get that first 2 pieces out, but after that we should be able to have enough wiggle room up inside of there to start removing where our brood comb is. So our brood comb starts here or here or here, because it's a darker comb. I thought of one more thing that I want to mention before we start removing this comb, and that is a little trick that I've learned. All our jobs, when we start removing the comb, because the honey, it's just a mess and it gets all over everything, we always have water with us, and we have a bucket of water that we I clean my hands, the knives, the scrapers, whatever we're using. And we found out that warm water, hot water just works great. So now we use hot water every time we have a job that has hot water. We use hot water, and it cleans the honey off your knives really, really good. Cleans it off your gloves really good. So hot water when you do your removals, that's a great tip.
Other way.
Oh, you like the honey though, huh?
That's good.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really like honey, but that's good.
That piece he's going to give you, put that cut side down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, delicious. Now, one good thing about it being so cold, the honey is so thick. You see how slow it's running right now. And that honey, how slow it runs, at least it gives me a little bit of time to pull that comb out of here. And there's just so little space to work up in here. And so the first couple pieces, they don't come out so good. So we're going to clean this stuff up and continue on getting closer to our bees. Now I removed the first 3 sections, and you saw it was all honey. And you can tell just by the angle of the comb and the length of it, it's just impossible to remove it from this space without cutting it. And I hate to cut it, because I'd love to be able to frame this stuff up just in big slabs like that, because it frames perfectly into one of the frames. But I'm forced to cut it so it will get out of the space. And I'm hoping by the time I get 2 more of these things out of here, I'll have enough room where I'll be able to get the whole piece out, because by that time I know I'll be into brood, and I want to keep as much of that intact as I can to frame that stuff up.
Joe's coming.
Right. I got some bees on it, Joe.
I'm ahead.
Just like that.
Let me show you what we've got so far. Now, as I've been removing this comb, all I'm doing is I'm pushing the few bees that are left further and further over to the left. And our queen, that's where she's running. She's running over there. So we'll probably wind up getting her right at the very end, because I'm just going to push these bees all the way to that end. And she may wind up on one of the pieces of the comb that I take out, but I doubt it. It's going along very slowly because it's just such a close-quartered space to work in. But we are making progress. We're down to the last big piece of comb. I think there's one more piece behind that. All our bees have run behind that comb. And I know our queen is still back there. Let's take this off and find out where she is.
Gotta be there.
No, she ain't on it.
Not on that. Gotta be up there.
Down to the last cluster of bees. They're so far back in there I can't even see. So I'm going to spray the honey bandit to the right side of them, push these bees out of here, and make our queen run towards me. Well, folks, that hive ain't in there no more. And I opened up this little hole right here just to make sure our bees didn't run over there. No bees in there, no bees in there, and no bees in there. So we got everything except for our queen. We didn't see her, but I think we vacuumed her up. If we didn't see her, we vacuumed her up. All right, let's wrap this video up.
It ain't no bee, but it sure is beautiful, huh, Charlie?
Oh, she's beautiful. Look at this honey.
Joe said we got to get these snakes in the video one more time. Well, we didn't find our queen, but I know I had to vacuum her. I just didn't see her. And these snakes, they would have told us if we would have seen her, I think.
They're so sweet. Oh, look how sweet.
So what do you think, Charlie? What happened today?
Today was a long day.
Yeah, a bummer.
It definitely took more than 2 hours, trust me.
Yeah, we spent over an hour just waiting at the end looking for our queen with no luck. So if we didn't find her doing what we did, she wouldn't
gonna find her.
Nah, she's in the
box.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get her to say, thanks for watching.
Keep on watching.
We'll be making more.
God bless, Mr. Ed, Joe, Ed.
And a good time, Charlie. Wait till you see the next one. We'll probably be in an animal farm somewhere.
What?
See how she's distended right there? She's ovulating.
Wow.
She's ovulating right now. This is a big old
Oh
Mojave
my
female.
goodness.
Well, tell me something. I don't think you have any rats around here, do
No.
you? I didn't think so.
Not at all. What's in here? It's a big female.
Whoa.
That's one of my dinker projects.
What's a dinker
You
project?
see how she's banded?
Uh-huh.
It's genetic because I have her son right here.
Oh man. What's that little mouse in there?
He didn't eat last night. He did not eat. Banana, his dad is over here. That's his dad.
Oh my goodness. What were you saying, Joe?
In natural sunlight, they look totally different. Like you can never capture that color.
Because there really is a dark purple.
There
in
is.
Oh, there's. Wow. That's super cool.
Wow. That is something.
A black-eyed leucistic.
Are you disturbing those snakes? They look like they sleeping.
They ball pythons. That's how they go.
Oh, that is cool how they flex their skin.
Looks like a bicycle tube.
It kind of does. If you think about it.
You look at the scales on it, they're real close.
And you got another big girl right there. She's getting ready to lay eggs any day now. I think the end of this week I should have a clutch from her. So I don't want to grab her and disturb her too much. Then you got another crazy one right here.
Oh, wow.
We take her out. She's not grabbing. She's too little. Super strike.
Oh. Man, they
Solid.
just keep getting prettier.
And that right there is just a big het pie girl. Well, not big anymore. She laid eggs. Orange Dream. She's kind of nuts. She is.
Looks like he's ready to fight.
Yeah, she usually is.